Talinator, and so in this video, well, as you can see, yeah, this is LEGO Transformers 03 Optimus Prime. I know, a big step up from Jetstorm and Quickstop, but, you know, hey, yeah, here he is. This guy took about a week to design. I designed him all digitally on Studio 2.0, and it was very fun designing him. It was a little bit challenging in some of the upper body stuff, which we'll see later in the transformation, but I think I did a very good job. Yeah. The reason I made this guy is basically I wanted to make my own version of Optimus. I wanted to make more of a complicated version of G1 Prime, because I like his design, but also he's a little too simple, so I wanted to make a kind of a more movie-esque version of G1 Prime. His truck mode is kind of inspired by Rise of the Beasts Prime, since it has this wind vane at the top. However, there is actually some parts here, so this guy also doesn't really fall apart. I did glue some parts together, which I know, but I'm never taking this guy apart, so I don't really care. And it just helps with stability. So, yeah. But you can swap them out for red if you like this more. However, I like the gray because I just like the extra color. So, yeah, we're going to keep the gray on. This is the nice thing about LEGO. You can make swappable parts fairly easily, because you can just rip everything apart and then swap it. So, pretty nice stuff. Yeah, some of the requirements that I had for his design is I wanted him to be over-engineered. I also wanted him to have a flat and clean back bed. It's supposed to have nothing here, and there's supposed to be completely clean, nothing here, and then here's the back part. So, yeah, I wanted his bed to be completely flat, clear of robot mode shenanigans, and I indeed did that. Another requirement is I didn't want any faux parts, and I want you to basically be able to point out a part in robot mode and say, yeah, that came from here in truck mode. That's something else I wanted to do, and I think I achieved that pretty well as well. So, yeah, coming in for the details here, you have that wind vane at the top, you have the front headlights, smokestacks, which are a little too tall, but you can adjust them. Again, transformation, we'll get to that later. Front windows. He does have side view mirrors and also side windows, so that's very cool. He has the stripe. I did include the stripe because I like that more than just the plain red of the cartoon. His grille is too wide. However, these parts actually swing outwards, so it needs to be 4 wide, and having a 1 wide midsection would look extremely weird, so it has to be 4 wide. He does have a approximation of the Autobot symbol on the grille right here. I wanted to include this since it was on Bayverse Optimus's truck mode, and I like that detail. Front headlights, more lights. He has this little gray patch down here because this is in the cartoon. If you look at his animation model, there is a little bit of a gray patch down here, and these lights, they are meant to be there. And the grille also, or the bumper also, like, kind of curves up, so I have these curved tiles. The cab, basically everything is extremely smooth. These are really smooth. There's no, like, big gaps. It's a little messy on the side with all these hinges and all this hinges, but it's actually not that bad, which is nice. Front bumper, you have the tire. The tires are how they're supposed to be, with the front one like kind of popped out and these ones kind of more recessed. even though these aren't double tires, I just approximated double tires. Double tires would make this extremely flimsy and really thin in robot mode, and it would look really stupid. So I did not do that. He has the back fender here, gas tank. He actually does have a cab rack in the back, right here, which is a design requirement again. I wanted the cab rack, because it's supposed to be there. And this actually covers the head, so it's very important. And also makes some nice leg shaping in robot mode, and it looks really good. He has kind of the more horseshoe trailer hitch. You can see it kind of curves downwards. This is the best approximation I could get, and I didn't want to do the other trailer hitch kind of style because I don't really plan on making a trailer. You can, because you can kind of connect parts in here and get like a trailer hitch, but I don't plan on doing that because that would be kind of expensive. All of these parts were ordered off of Bricklink, by the way, for my birthday, so that's very fun. This is the only real robot mode kibble on his entire alt mode. It's just these parts, because I wanted some more robot mode detail, so I have these parts here, but they don't look that bad. Like, you can't tell what these are, so, you know. Of course, he has the back part, tail light, and turn signal, so I got both of those in there. Pretty sure these are supposed to be, I'm pretty sure these are turn signals and these are headlights, and then there's like fog lights at the top, I think. These were, all of these lights are on the animation model in G1, so I made sure to put them there. I'm not going for G1 accuracy, but, you know, hey, I mean, this side profile, this is G1 prime. I mean, are you kidding me? Look at this. Yeah. Very good. Top, very, very clean. Again, very clean. Very smooth tiles. These have to be rounded for transformation right here. These have to be rounded, so stuff can move. You can see it's a very minimalist bed. There's just kind of two posts and then axle connection stuff, which is how it's supposed to look. I actually saw a cab over in real life, and I took a picture of the back of it to kind of get some reference for what the back is supposed to look like. It wasn't an FLA 86, but, you know. Which, this is designed to be an FLA 86, because that's what he is in the cartoon. But the grille looks more like a Marmon, so, you know, for it to be an FLA 86, it's supposed to be a third of the width of the cab, which my cab is 8 studs wide, so I'd have to do, like, I don't remember what it is. It's 8 divided by 3, which is a weird decimal number, so you can't do it with Lego, so, yeah. Bottom, very clean. You can't really tell what's going on here. He does have his head right in here, but it's so far up, you can't really tell what that's supposed to be, and, yeah. He's very good. Now, I did build weapons for Optimus. That is one thing I did include. So, I built a gun. All of his, like, guns are inspired, like, all of his weaponry is inspired by the ROTF Optimus. So this is his gun. And then he also has dual energon blades. It's very cool. Upside down. Yeah, he does have dual blades. Shout out to R Nobilis, A, for inspiring me to make Lego Transformers that are like this complicated, and also for this sword design, because I basically just stole this design. I changed the colors and changed it slightly, because I have a slightly different way of attaching it, but yeah, shout out to him. It's a great design. I do like it. So, yeah, that is his weapons. Now, they do store in alt mode. If we head to the bottom here, you can see there is this little tab right here, and if you take the gun, this is a little bit hard to do, but if you take the gun and you kind of fidget with it and get it inside. Now, there is enough clearance here. I'm going to do this off camera because it's kind of hard. This guy is kind of fiddly, but it's worth it. Yeah, it kind of attaches right here, and then you can close up the bed. And you can see his weapon is stored right here. His gun stores very, very cleanly. You cannot tell that gun is stored in here at all. His swords, well, use some open studs on the cab rack connectors, and so, yeah, they kind of store out in the open, but if I built a trailer, you could put them in the trailer or whatever, but, yeah. You're actually supposed to angle them inwards like this to make it slimmer. So, yeah, it's not the most horrendous storage, and the back of this is actually so flat that it kind of looks weird without anything there. So, there we go. Anyways, on to size comparisons. So here he is with a Speed Champions, like, Lamborghini Countach. They're both 8 studs wide. However, this is out of scale with Optimus because trucks are meant to be way bigger. Here he is with the Mack garbage truck. You can see he scales a lot better with this since they're both trucks. They're actually about the same height, which is really cool. And finally, here he is with MP10. So, I kind of designed him to be MP scaled, and, well, I mean, he's about MP scale. You know, a little short, except the smokestacks are taller, which I find kind of funny. But, yeah, here he is with MP10. Now, the big comparison here is actually looking at the beds. So, here are the comparisons of the beds. So, as you can see, mine is a lot flatter. There shouldn't be all of this junk here. This should all be just flat. And the crotch plate should not go here. And there's feet sticking out. There's a lot of stuff here. But yeah, that is about it for truck mode. So, let's get on the transformation. Parts do pop off sometimes. I glued pieces so they don't pop off. When I first transformed him on stream, that's when I glued some parts together, so he wouldn't fall apart. That's just for stability, just to make him more fun to play with. Alright, so for transformation, I described him as over-engineered because he definitely is, but hey. Alright, so to transform him, the first step is we gotta get these legs out. And to do that, we have to untab them. So, right in the cab rack, they tab in up here. So, we're going to untab those after we do this first kind of minor steps. So first, we got to compress the smokestacks in. You can see that they do compress down. And they do actually kind of peg in. So, compress the smokestacks. Then you want to take the mirrors and you want to rotate and or slide them up. You want to put them up. Right here. You'll see this a lot where 1x2 tiles are sliding. And you want to slide these tiles as well over. Slide the tile. And you want to rotate the front bumper. And that's basically all of the prepping steps. So now that we're done with that, now we can get on to the wheel transformation. So, to untab these are some very finicky connections to untab. Basically, you just want to grab this, and you want to kind of just wiggle until they pop out. It's a little difficult. You want to shift out the tire. There you go. You want to untab this. Now, the legs do tab into each other right here at the trailer hitch. So you want to untab them, and then you want to take the trailer hitch and you want to shift it over. You want to take the leg and you want to drop it. We'll keep that down there for now. Second verse, same as the first, a lot easier because now I can get a finger in here and untab this. There we go. You want to take the leg. You you want to drop it. Now that we have this out of the way, this bumper piece is going to love to fall off, by the way. We're going to take the gun off, and sometimes this piece loves to come with it. I should have made this part a jumper, but weapon storage was kind of a last minute thing. Take the legs and you want to spread them out a little bit. These wheels are on hinges, so you want to bring them down. And yeah, take the ankle here and you want to move it and you want to twist it. Yeah, the ankle and you want to twist it. This is something I kind of thought of for transformation here. So yeah, take the wheels, rotate them. Then you want to take this cab rack and you want to bring it backwards and you want to spin it. You want to bend the top part down a little bit and then bring this downwards. Bend, go down. And now he's able to stand. And he's already out of frame. Okay. How beautiful. But bending the cab rack like that makes this really nice calf, like leg shaping, which I really like. So, yeah. Here you want to take the toe and you want to slide it out. Same on the other side. Now he has some feet to stand on. And then these little ankle panels, you want to take this, you want to shimmy it down and then rotate it in. Slide, rotate in. This is a detail on movie Bayverse Optimus with these little like discs and these little red parts around his ankle, so I wanted to add those. You want to come to the back. You want to take the gas tank and you want to spin it. Then you want to take the assembly here, use the articulation and rotate this around because it's being stubborn. Rotate this piece up. And then this blue panel is going to slide over and it's going to tab in right here and lock that in place. Then you take the gas tank and rotate it up. And there's one leg done. For the other leg, again, you want to take this, slide this out of the way, slide this up, rotate the gas tank, take this, push it in, put tab, rotate, bring it down. His legs are done. And now that his legs are done, he's now out of frame. So we're gonna have to raise the camera. Pretty nice Gur truck mode, so pretty fun. But yeah, now that we've got the legs, now we gotta take the bumper and you're going to untab it at this part right here, and you want to untab it right here as well. This is gonna angle backwards to get out of the way. And then these are going to fold inwards, again to get out of the way, angle forwards, get out of the way. You can angle this back downwards for stability reasons. This is on like internally, it's on like a ball joint in here, which is very stable actually, but you know. So yeah. Now we can get out the arms. So for the arms, you want to rotate this section outwards like so. You want to lift it up a little bit and it's going to tab in right here. So there's a tab there. Come to the other side, do the same thing. Rotate it. Bring this out. Tab it in. There you go. Now that these are tabbed in, Now we can take the wrists, and these, remember this orientation for truck mode here? They do go in a certain orientation where this is kind of bent up, and then the fingers rest along here, because they have to fit inside of the cab because there's a lot of stuff in there, and the clearance just works. So you want to rotate this around to the front. You want to grab the fully articulated hand, bring it out a little bit on this little bar, and then shift it back in, and there's his hand. And get it straight, so you want to shift this out and then straighten it like that. There you go. Second verse, same as the first. Grab this, spin it downwards a little bit, take this, rotate, bang all this out, shimmy out, rotate, collapse. And there are his two hands all done. Now what we can do is we can take this little fender part, and we gotta rotate this inwards. Rotate inwards, and then we can fold down the arms. And now we've got the forearms out. The shoulders are very complicated though, so that was the easy part of the arms. Now we go on to the hard part of the arms. So first, this is the most annoying connection to kind of untab besides like the cab rack connectors down there, because this connection just does not want to move. So there's this little stud right here, and you're gonna have to take this and bring it downwards. And this is very hard to do because it's basically guaranteed to have the shoulder pop out like this, because this is connected up in the shoulder pad. See this little stud? That connects into here. It's very hard, so we're just going to rotate this in. It's always the arms on my Lego Transformers, every single time. It's always the arms that are extremely annoying. I don't know why, every time. Quick Stop's arms actually weren't that bad, but, you know, whatever. Jetstorm's arms were very bad. Hold this in. Now we've gotten those panels out of the way. Now we can do the next step. After you get the arms kind of out, now what you want to do is you want to take these shoulders here, and you want to take the entire shoulder, and it's going to shimmy on this joint right in here, and you just want to shimmy it outwards, and then you want to pull it out. So that is most of the roof now exposed right here. It's very cool. Same on the other side, of course. You want to have the entire shoulder joint. Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. It's going to expand outwards. And you can rotate it out. Okay. For now, that's the arms. Of course, they're not finished, but that is the arms for now. Because now what we gotta do is we gotta sort out these two little panels, which, fun fact, well, not fun for me, these were extremely hard for me to design. I know, they look like such small, insignificant panels, but I had like no space in here to design this. But I finally figured out that I could just use some of the, like, cut off some of the arm part, and then I could use it here. Such a good thing I figured out. But, yeah. We're gonna work on those. After, we have to do this first, actually. Actually, if anything, you should rotate these this way. This is how we're going to end up later. Now we're going to swing out the arm at this joint, just so we can work on it. One is tighter, this one is tighter than this one, which makes it more stable, and this one's less stable. So if the arms are going to fall off, it's going to be this one. So it's fun. So we're just going to preemptively pop it off. Now there's this little tile that has to slide and connect into here. So lift it up, connect. Then you can put the shorter joint back in. Rotate. This one I might be able to do without it falling off. Just want to lift the tile, slide it, and then tab it in. That makes sure that these hinges are locked in place and no longer move. Now, what we want to do, so we're going to rotate these back inwards. We're going to rotate the arms at the shoulder here. And we're going to expand them out. Enough. There we go. He is balanced enough so he will stay like this, which is kind of crazy. But now we need to untab the arm and bend it down. So there's this hinge brick right here, and then it tabs in up here. So you want to untab this, and then you want to swing it down. And that is almost a completed shoulder. You want to take this section right here, these 1x2 rounds, and you want to rotate this. Kevin, you want to rotate this up and around like this. You want to make sure that this arm is as extended as it can go on this bar. And once you do that, you're done with one arm. So that's one arm done. Second verse, same as the first. Tab, rotate down, and you want to take this, rotate it, and then you want to pull out the shoulder as much as it can. That way it clears the mirrors. And there you go. There are the arms. You gotta grab the window, and you gotta grab the shoulder joint right here on the butterfly, and this is going to arc backwards. The window likes to pop off when you do this. It's fine. You just want to open up the windows so he has that kind of opening in his chest, like a lot of modern kind of G1-esque primes have it, where it's a split in the chest instead of being one solid panel, which is a really cool detail that I like. Of course I added it. You want to take these parts and you want to swing them outwards. These parts, kind of funny reason they are here. They are only here to house these little clips, which you'll find out why those clips need to be there in a second. Well, later on, but you'll see later. Anyways, now that we've got those pieces rotated, now there's enough clearance to get the head out. So to get the head out, you want to take his ears and you want to spin them down, get those into position, and you want to take the head and you want to wiggle it. You want to pull it out on this bar. You want to take the flashlight, there you go. It's a little dark right now. You want to spin it out on that bar, and there's a hinge brick, and you want to rotate this up on that hinge brick to flatten that against the rest of the body. And then you take the head and you spin it on this joint right here, kind of the inner neck connector, and that will put it into position out in front. So that's what the head is now. Now what we want to do is we want to go in here, and we actually do want to rotate it up to here. is these little panels right here. Now you may be thinking, Tyler, this does not look very good right now. I know, we're gonna fix this whole chest area. First, we gotta get these panels out of the way. To get the panels out of the way, you want to first rotate them downwards. So you wanna grab this red panel, you want to rotate it downwards. Rotate it down. Tyler, that does not look better. I know. Rotate. And what you want to do with this is you want to first get the arm out of the way. So you want to rotate the arm up. Rotate the arm up. Now that the arms are out of the way, now you can rotate this panel around at this joint right in here. This kind of inner shoulder joint. And then you can spin it on its clip right here, since it uses the rounded off clip piece. And then you can spin it to the back side like this, which is really cool transformation. And originally this was a really annoying part to rotate around, but I figured out how to rotate it easier, and it's actually really satisfying doing it like that. That's really cool. And yeah, we're just going to open these panels up for now. This is going to be kind of back panels to fill out his back, but for now we're going to sit there. We're going to bend these shoulders backwards more to get them out of the way, and we want to make sure that his chest is split open. There you go. Then we can take his shoulders, and you want to bend them at the actual clip instead of at the butterfly. And that will get them into position to be rotated forward like that. Okay, that chest panel. There you go. I think on Studio I have these at like 5-degree angles, and that's very hard to do precisely in real life, so, you know. But that is that. So after you put the chest back in position, after it fell off, you want to take the back and you want to arc it. And what you want to do now is there's a slider inside of the waist. And this slider is going to allow you to fix his waist, because what you can do is, this is why the grill has to be 4 wide, is you can separate it by pushing on the middle part, and it's gonna push backwards. And then once you push it all the way back, now you have enough clearance. Now you can see that the middle grill is indented. Now what you can do is you have enough clearance to take the sides of the grill, and you're actually gonna rotate them, and this is gonna become like his kind of like, I don't know, under chest, whatever part. I don't know what this is supposed to be. The little gray stripe he has right there. You know what I'm talking about. Then you take these, and they're also on parts where you can't really see it. You're gonna angle them backwards. Now, Tyler, that's good and all, but now his chest is way too thin. Well, we're gonna fix that. But first, now we can angle this back down where it's supposed to be, back in a neutral pose. Now I can spin him around. Now I can close up his back. So you want to take these panels and you just want to accordion them in. And they're gonna sit nice and flat up against his back right here. Really cool. It's going to make this nice little block in his back. Now that we have the back out of the way, now what we can do is we can fix the shoulders right there. Now what we want to do is we're going to grab the bumper section, and you want to get the leg out of the way as much as you can, and you want to take this bumper and you want to rotate it upwards. It's going to rotate on this joint right here, on this ball joint. It's going to rotate, and then it's going to come up. it's going to fill out his waist. There's one of them done, so now I can get the upper leg out of the way. Get the wheel out of the way. That's actually why I added those hinges on the wheels, because I digitally transformed him, which was very hard to do, by the way. But I digitally transformed him, and that part was the most annoying section to get in, the waist section. So I added that hinge on the wheels specifically for transformation, and they work very well. They also make the legs more dynamic, so it's just better. You can bring the hip wheels back in. Take the bumper here and you can rotate it. And then the final step, actually, is you want to take his shoulders and you want to rotate them back downwards. You want to fix all of these angles, make sure it's all good. And adjust these, make sure this is straight. Just make sure everything's nice and straight. And there is Lego Optimus in robot mode. I think he looks very, very cool. So, there he is. So let's go over some of the details. So his legs are very interesting. He has a wheel up here, he has a wheel on his hip, he has the gas tank right here. Yeah, he has these little details. You can see that he has that disc and that little red part. That's inspired by Bayverse Optimus's legs. Headlight heels, which is accurate. That is where they're supposed to be on G1. I see that he has that wheel in the heel, which I really like. It's very cool. Cab rack makes his calves. Very cool stuff. Trailer hitch ends up on his lower side here. He has these blue panels right here to just add some extra blue and bulk out his legs a little bit more, which helps right here. The attachment is red, just for some extra color. His thighs are made from like the bottom part of the thing. He has the gas tanks right here, which attach. The connectors for the gas tanks are blue, just so you can tell that they're the tabs instead of the part of the thigh, because that's useful for transformation. His wheels right here, if you wanted to, you could remove this tile and you could spin the wheels and then bring them backwards more towards the back of the thigh, but I actually like them more on the hips, so I'm going to keep that there. But they can angle outwards. You'll see how that's useful for articulation. Of course, the transformation is as well. The wheels still turn. I forgot to mention that, but he does roll very, very well in alt mode, which was another design requirement. His back right here. His back right here, these panels came from that little part. His back is actually very flat. He has like negative backpack, I describe it as, because his torso is extremely thin. Like if you look at him from the top, you can see that this is his actual torso. These are just like some extra parts, and his shoulders are back here. So he's very thin, which is nice. He's very nimble, which is cool. I don't really want him to be very chunky and very bulky, so, you know, being pretty thin. Is the neck part right here. I made sure to put a cheese slope here to make this not as ugly. Actually, I did forget one step. You are supposed to actually rotate these inwards. Right here. There you go. I forgot to do that. You are supposed to rotate those inwards. And you'll see why in a second. Yeah. Shoulders. His arms are the most complicated, specifically his shoulders and like upper arm is the most complicated thing about his entire transformation. Surprisingly enough, he didn't fall apart during transformation, which is surprising because normally he does, but I guess I've just gotten so good at transforming him, because I did transform him a couple times to make sure I wasn't gonna fumble around during this video. Make him nice video. His shoulders aren't expanded as much as they should be. Oh no. So that's what normally happens. That part normally comes off, but it didn't. There you go. Now, I did glue a couple parts, and also this bar connector piece is, on both sides, is actually modified. I did have to cut it, because on studio, it fit perfectly in the shoulder joint, but in real life it didn't, so I had to fix it. Again, very complicated shoulders. You can see his smokestacks do end up on the sides of the arms, where they're supposed to be. Made sure of that. Hands. Very difficult actually hiding the hands inside the alt mode, because I did have to figure out a space where they would actually fit, which was hard to do. His waist looks very under-detailed. It's actually the front bumper, and it is meant to be the front bumper, because if you watch when he transforms in the show, like specifically in like the movie when he transforms in like one of the very iconic, like when Prime transforms, the front bumper becomes his waist. A lot of toys don't do that, but I did, which makes his legs longer. It makes it easier, actually, because I don't have to deal with like extending his hips. So that's really nice. You can see that this piece is not where it's supposed to go. It's supposed to go down. And there you go. Whoopsie Jesus. Oh no. You see that his grill does end up on his torso right here. The size of the grill make those little gray stripes right here. Originally, I wanted the front bumper to actually wrap around the grill, but that was way too complicated, and I decided not to do that, and went with this more simple design, which looks a lot cleaner and a lot nicer. So, yeah, you can see the rest of the bumper, the sides of the bumper actually end up right here, and the only reason that these parts are actually red, and they look as good as they do, is because these are the tabs, and they have to be red, because the stripe, like the bumper is here, and then the red part is there, and it has to line up in truck mode, which I made sure of to make sure the truck mode was as perfect as I could get it, of course. Yeah, that's his abdomen. His windows, of course, have the headlights, and then have all that stuff. The windows, made sure of that. Little crease in there. Definitely wanted that. The only unfortunate thing is he doesn't have a matrix. I did want him to have... I didn't really think about adding a matrix, but, you know, it's fine. Head sculpt. I think I did a pretty good job approximating Optimus's head. Right there, you can see it. He has the mouth plate, he has the crest, he has the blue eyes, he has the rounded part on his helmet. It's actually rounded there. Rounded tile piece, and then rounded jumper piece, and then his ears. I got his ears really good. I really like this head sculpt. He looks kind of like a samurai, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, on to posing. So I made sure Prime has some pretty good articulation here. So yeah, you can see from these Instagram photos, keep in mind that is in studio, but he can pull off those poses, which is very cool. So For his articulation, he has a lot of joints. So he has a rotation here at the head. Here, you can rotate the head. You can rotate the head at the inner neck joint if you want, for some reason. He can look down pretty well. He can't really look up, but if you use the hinge brick in his neck, he can look up pretty far. He looks up enough, so pretty good. Again, you can adjust, like, a lot of these. There's a little bit of play in how you can move them. His shoulders, they do a full 360 on this bar. It actually does hold the joint, which I was a little bit afraid of, but it does actually hold. This little part might nick on some of these little sections that are sticking out, but you can move the shoulder around to avoid that. He has a butterfly joint as well. You can use his you can get a nice butterfly going, so that's nice. Mainly backwards, but if you like arrange some of these parts, you could probably get this to butterfly inwards a little bit. There is this hinge right here, which is the transformation hinge, but you can use it to get the little gray part from colliding with the smokestack. You can just rotate the smokestack, but you can also move this out of the way if you need to. Arm can extend outwards all the way. Like, it can go all the way up. All the way up. You have a pretty good arm raise there. You can get pretty high up, so that's nice. If you untab the joint here, you can get a forearm rotation. So if you do untab this, you can rotate this a little bit on this joint, but it's a little bit limited because of the stud there. His elbow, you get 90 degrees of bend, as per usual with Optimus's. His hands do have articulation, so he does have a wrist swivel right here, but it's kind of at an awkward angle, so to compensate, you can slide it to make it look a little bit more natural. You can move his thumb up and down, so you can get him in a thumbs up pose, which is very cool. Each of his free fingers, I would have had 4, but there's not enough space. Each of his fingers do bend on that joint there. If we get his arms out of the way, he does have that internal, like, ab crunch, so you can get a nice arcing back. He can arc very far backwards, as you can see, so it's nice for posing. He can't really get forward, but that's okay. He does have a waist swivel, technically. It's very limited, but he does have a waist swivel. It helps with making poses more natural, though. There's a little bit of swivel. So, yeah. You can always move these parts around a little bit to get the waist to swivel a little bit more, but I don't really feel like doing that. Hips, hip wheels help with this. Move them out of the way. He can get pretty far out. He goes forward very far. He goes backwards way too much. That is ridiculous. He does have a swivel because it's a ball joint, so he does kind of have a thigh swivel. You get a knee bend, about 90 degrees of bend, and you can also swivel it at that joint as well if you need that. And then his foot, his ankle, you can have a swivel, you can go up, back, and he has a very good pivot. You can also break his ankle. So he has pretty good posability. That's enough to get him into some pretty dynamic poses. So yeah. Now as for his weapons, right here, to use his weapons, you do have to take off the hand. So you grab the hand right here and you straight up just rip it off because it's Lego. You grab the sword. There's this little bar on the arm and there's this little clip on the sword, and you're just going to pop this in, fold this up. You can either leave it biased to one side or you can center it. I like centering it. Fold the hip wheel. So there's his sword. His gun attaches the same way, except it's 2 clips. So it attaches, folds up. And they do lay flush. So they do look very good. And yeah, there he is with his weapons. And he looks very good with his weapons in a pose. But again, I don't really feel like putting him in pose right now. So, yeah. Now, if we take off his weapons and you're like, Tyler, where do I put the weapons when I'm not using them? Well, there actually is a place. Kevin. There actually is a spot where you can put the weapons. If you turn to the back, you take the gun. It has these little studs, and they will go into the bottom of this anti-stud right here on the plate. And that stores very nicely in his back. And then you can take his sword, and the clips will go into these little spots like right here. This is why these are here. It's the only reason these are here. So you can have sword storage on his back. And I think that storage looks very, very nice. And it also kind of makes his back a little bit more filled out, which is also nice. Because normally his back is very flat and very, like, that's a good thing, but like he has negative backpack and it's kind of nice filling out that space with some stuff. And this is a very good kind of how it arcs. The angles here, it looks very nice. So yeah, he does have weapon storage. So that is him in robot mode. So for comparison, here he is with the Lamborghini Countach. A little bit taller. Here he is with garbage truck. A little bit taller. You see how much he mass shifts. He is a lot smaller in vehicle mode compared to robot mode. He does mass shift between modes, which is really cool. And finally, here he is with MP10. So, MP10 is taller. However, here's kind of the comparison. I think my Lego version has better proportions compared to MP10 though. Especially from kind of farther away. My version does look a little bit better, you know, in my opinion at least. So, yeah. You can see that my version has very long legs, which makes him look a lot more heroic compared to this, which he has a really long torso. My version has a very slim torso. His shoulder pads are very big though, so that makes him look a little bit cooler. Yeah, you can see the head sculpts, comparison between them. And yeah, that is Lego Optimus. He took a little bit to develop. He's very complicated, and it was not easy making him, but he was very fun to design. I like designing him. He was very fun to design. I built him on stream, and if you want to check that out, that's going to be in the iCard up there. Basically, this is how all of my future Transformers are going to be built. They are all going to be digitally designed, tested, and then kind of like improved upon on Studio. And then they're going to be brick-linked and then built on stream, and then I'll make a standalone video. That's how it's going to work from now on, if you're wondering. And also, don't expect another Lego Transformer for, like, a long time, because I have to order the parts, and that costs money, and I don't really have the money. And, you know, so if I'm going to be building another Transformer, it's probably going to be sometime in December. In the description, there is Prime's instructions. I did make instructions, that's what I was following on stream. And I also have his studio file in case you want to download him, mess around with him, change his colors, I don't know. Build him yourself. You know, you can build him yourself. It's fine. I don't really care about copyright or whatever. Have fun. I might actually make an Ultra Magnus out of him because that wouldn't really be that hard. So, maybe. That would actually be really cool. I don't know. Maybe. Because this base robot mode, the problem is I was going to make a trailer for him, but the trailer would have to attach onto Prime and like cover parts of the robot mode, and that would require you having to move a bunch of parts and like reposition a bunch, and that's just a lot of designing, and it's very complicated. So trailer not really going to be something coming soon. So yeah, maybe one day, but not now. Definitely not now. That is about it for Optimus here. Very excited building him. I've waited a long time for the parts to arrive because one came from Utah and it took like 8 days to arrive, so that was annoying waiting for that. But yeah, that is about it for the video. So, Talinator signing out. Bye. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified when I build another Lego Transformer. I don't know.